What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mokuphu Gaming. Thank you for joining us once again. We are here today to discuss WandaVision Episode 8, the penultimate episode, as they say on the internet right now. This episode was insane. There's so many things that happened. There's, Wanda's backstory, Agnes's backstory, and the huge bomb that dropped after the credits. We're going to go over those things today. With me once again is Edgar P. Pimpin, the big man GV4, and then Tone is hanging out at a beach.
This is Amalfi Coast.
Oh, okay. All right. So, anyways, guys, thanks for joining us once again. So today, let's go over our first subject for today. Agnes came out as like a main factor in the story, which everybody kind of knew, and we talked about it first here on this channel early on. What do you guys think is her end game? Like, what is she going to be doing? Is she the big bad, or is she just kind of like there to kind of mix things up?
So I don't think she's the big bad. I think that she definitely is interested in Wanda's magic and where it came from and how she can have it, or how she can take it away from Wanda, maybe. But I think it's all in the service of something else. I think there's a bigger character in the background, either like working with Agatha, or I don't know if she's trying to get something on his behalf or trying to bring somebody in. But I don't feel like Agatha is the big bad. I definitely don't feel that way.
Yeah, it was interesting. The show started off with like Agatha, like Salem witch trials, except she was being, burned to the cross by other witches. One of them apparently was her mother. And it seemed like she didn't really want to like harm them, that she wanted to just like, prove that she was worthy and she could do what she was, wield the dark magic. But then she was left no choice maybe to do what she did. But then again, maybe she wanted to. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's clear yet. Maybe you guys talk about that. But I agree with what Edgar's saying, is that she is not the big bad. She's not there. She's not there to cause problems. She's there to understand the power that she sends. Like, she wanted to figure out what this whole thing was. She went through Wanda's past, the whole events of the episode, to figure out how she did what she did. She thought that she meant to do it. She went there with the plan and the intention to create that universe. And then so Agatha wanted to figure out how she did that and why she did that. So she does seem to know more about Wanda, at least what she is, than Wanda does even at this point. So I'm not sure if she's gonna now want to fight her because of that. It didn't seem like it was going to end peacefully with the way this show ended, with her holding Wanda's kids, Billy and Tommy. But yeah, more to be seen on that. I'm not sure if she's, there to start a fight or what, but she didn't seem like she went there with that intention to begin with.
Well, like, I thought the title was super cool. Like, previously on, like, obviously that's a backdrop to just this is the history and like the origin stories of both Agatha and Wanda, and like where they've been and why they are where they are right now. I think that Agatha, that you heard here first, that she was Agatha Harkness, by my piece of paper that I on the first episode or second episode, that she thinks she's the big bad because she seems very like kind of cocky, self-indulgent. She thinks she's probably the best witch around, and just from her punking all the other witches and her mom and sucking up all their life forces and being able to live this long and look exactly the same. I think that she's messing with powers that she doesn't really know about. I think there's some kind of in that book that they flashed in the last episode. I think there's something going on with that, and maybe the big bad is behind there, or she's trying to summon him or her or whoever. But I think she thinks she's the big bad, and she's trying to be like the ultimate witch. And it seems like the term Scarlet Witch maybe is some type of legend, or some type of like OP witch that uses this chaos power that she wants to learn about and be the OP witch, that Wanda kind of fell into. Maybe she had some type of powers when I mean, it seems like she was just born with some like mutant powers, like maybe magic mutant powers are basically the same in the Marvel universe right now. Like she was born with it. She seemed to have some power over that bomb that dropped, like she seemed to be able to control it. And then the Mind Stone just kind of unleashed it. And then she saw the, basic image of herself and what she was going to be. The ultimate Scarlet Witch is what she ended up being. But I think that, she's just kind of a pawn, like Edgar was talking about, Tone was talking about, kind of a pawn, even though she thinks she's the big bad in the show.
I see. Well, I mean, from my point of view, I actually kind of have to disagree with you guys. I think Agnes is working completely by herself at this point. I don't think she has another alter person or alternative person that's pulling the strings on her right now. She did mention that Wanda is she was like a baby witch and she used a probability spell on the bomb, which is how they survived and were protected the entire time. So at this point, I think Agatha is just kind of like she wanted to know what was going on because she sensed the magic, and now she's trying to see if maybe she can control or something like that. But I definitely have lost my opinion that there's another force behind Agatha's movements and motivations and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and talk about Wanda and Agnes's backstories. What did you guys think about those backstories? Do you think they were pretty good backstories, or did they kind of like not make sense? So let's hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had cutscenes from, Wanda's background, and you've seen him in Age of Ultron and a couple other movies and stuff. But this time you actually see, like, what actually happened because, in Age of Ultron, you thought that it was a dud. The bomb never went off, but she actually controlled it and made it not go off. And then the experiments, you just kind of saw her in the, Hydra prison with the same outfit on. You don't really know what happened, but you didn't know that, everybody else was experimenting on that died and she was able to live through it. I thought it was cool, like the cut scene from the camera, like like the camera from the Hydra facility, and you saw it like it was kind of like a cut, like you didn't see what actually happened, even though you saw her perspective, and that mirrored a lot what happened in the actual show. Like when kind of Vision went off the chain, it was like a blurb, right? Like it was just like back to normal. I thought that was really cool. I thought it filled in a lot of the dots and kind of like what was going on and how she got her powers and how kind of the Mind Stone just kind of amplified, her, you know, witchcraft or whatever that she had that was probably laying dormant that she didn't know about that, Agatha kind of alluded to. And then I thought the backstory of Agatha was really cool too. And she seems like she's kind of like, even though it's old, she seems like kind of like an up and coming witch and is kind of gotten rid of the old witches. Even her mom stole her life force and trying to become like the ultimate witch. And she's kind of like, the rival witch because she saw exactly what she was doing and it was just nothing that she could even think of or like figure out how to do. So I thought that was kind of a cool perspective.
Yeah, Wanda's backstory, I think was gave a lot of like created a lot of sympathy or like empathy for like all the stuff that she's been through. I think if you don't, it's already tough to see all the stuff that she goes through on the show, but then to see all the things that had already led up to her situation currently and to see how basically this entire world was born out of her grief. It was like literally a moment of she explodes like in grief and it turns everything into the show that I think Gil had talked about, or we had talked about in other conversations where you had talked about how like maybe back when she was young, she watched these shows as a way of comfort, and it actually turned out that's exactly what had happened. And so, what a cool way to show the interplay of her unconscious things that are like part of who she is, and then kind of all of a sudden transform this entire world into something that stops the pain, right? And she goes back to this era of her life where she was happy and had joy. There were a lot of interesting things in the backstory too. There was that whole entire scenario with Vision, and it's revealed that she actually didn't go in there to steal him, that it's all this big lie basically, and the way that the director behaves and basically pushes her to do what she does and ends up basically framing her. That was also revealed there, and that was super interesting. But in general, I think the backstory, this episode did a really good job of creating a lot of empathy for the character of Wanda and why like things happened the way they did, and just like the uncontrollable grief and pain that she's been through, and just leads to this entire thing that maybe she didn't really mean for it to happen.
Yeah, it's the interesting about Westview as Wanda was entering it. There was, I understand it's like run down, like most of the world was run down after the snap. That's kind of how Endgame played out the world. But I was surprised about how everyone was still sad. I was thinking, why are they sad? The snap, they've already snapped them back. People should be happy. Like they're not, they got all their loved ones back. So why are they still sad in this town? So I wasn't sure what, going along with was it a mistake or not, or continuity. I was surprised at how depressed the town was, considering they should have been happy because just weeks before, all the loved ones came back.
Do you think that town in New Jersey was more of like a play on Monica's experience at the hospital where she came back and then her mom was dead? And then it wasn't just all these like families reuniting like in the screens, like in the sword facility. And it was more like these people passed away while you were gone. And it's just kind of like a little bit of sadness. And it's just kind of like the dark side of what happened when these people came back after the snap.
Yeah, I think there's some validity in that. But anyways, the White Vision. I said it here many times before that the White Vision was going to show up, and there he is. So that's another theory that we've confirmed that we have brought to you from this channel. But
All right,
anyway,
Steve, we'll give you that one. We'll give you a White Vision. You called it. I don't see a Professor X showing up, but there's still one more episode.
yeah, we still got an episode to go. But anyways, let's talk about the White Vision for a little bit. Edgar mentioned that he thinks that they're going to duke it out. Maybe they're going to merge together. What are your guys' thoughts, Gil and Tone?
I definitely do think maybe the season doesn't end with them merging together, but that eventually Vision does come back in the form that's more recognizable as the original version from the MCU. However, that happens in the future.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big magic, like Harry Potter showdown is coming in this next episode. It's going to be Wanda, fake Vision, and maybe even Monica somehow coming in to save the day versus, Agatha and then the powers that be of the director and sword and all that kind of stuff and versus White Vision. I think that they'll come out victorious, but it's like Wanda said when she was on the couch with Vision, she was explaining what a sitcom was and that, the dad didn't die when the patio kind of fell on him. It was like, it's not that kind of show. And this is that kind of show. So it's going to be something sad at the end. It's not going to be like everything wraps up and it's a happy ending like it started. It's going to be something sad, but I'm still holding out and I called it here. And I hope you remember next week as well, because you remembered White Vision. Doctor Strange is going to show up.
All right, we'll remember that, Gil. We'll remember.
Good. Remember it.
Well, all right, let's go ahead and get into our predictions for the future and the final episode of WandaVision and where it's going to go from now. Go ahead, guys.
I think I'll go first. I'm going to kind of touch on what Gil mentioned earlier about how it's not going to be a happy ending. I honestly think that it's the kids doesn't end up for this Tommy and Billy. The comic books, they are created from magic, and then the magic was taken, and that sent Wanda over the edge in the comics. I think that's what they're setting up here. I think it's in the end of the show, the kids are taken or gone for good, and then Wanda is completely gone, and sets up Doctor Strange and however she's going to appear in that. So I definitely think that Gil's right on target. She doesn't end happy. It's not a happy ending. Her whole world's been about making things nice and happy, and that's not real life for her. So she's going to end up getting it really bad. She's going to have something really bad.
Yeah, I think I'm still holding out, expectations that we're going to have a teaser of another big bad or another big reveal, I think, here before the end. I still think Mephisto or some big bad character is still going to show up. I don't think that Agatha is the big bad, as I mentioned earlier. It would also be cool to see Doctor Strange come in or some other character from the MCU into the scene. It feels like this is like what her power and her energy is drawing in a lot of different people from, both sides of the spectrum. People that are just interested in what's going on in this town. I think we might get to find out who Ralph is. And like I said, I think he's going to be tied together to who the big bad is. Yeah, of course, the big battle scene, the big showdown. But I think some key characters aren't going to make it out alive. I think, like Tone said, I think the kids are not going to move on. They're such a unique creation too, just to kind of fit the show. And I think that they're going to be, I think we might see them in the future in some other iteration, or they come back in some other way, but not in the near future. I think that they're definitely not going to make it out, and they're going to fit into what Agatha's trying to do as far as like taking her power away or like taking her force away from her. And yeah, I don't know. I would love to see some kind of like Vision meld in the actual battle, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen yet. But I think that'd be kind of cool to see. I don't know if Vision's going to make it out, or at least this version of Vision that she created. That might be another one of those things, but it would be cool to see them come together. But I'm not holding out hope.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they're going to need like a 2-hour season finale to like wrap all this stuff up, and that's not going to happen. So you got to know like it's not going to get wrapped up, and they're going to move it on to Doctor Strange in the multiverse. I think it's going to be the big wizard battle versus, Wanda versus Agatha, White Vision versus Fake Vision. I think that in the end, Monica is going to help out, and Wanda is going to end up winning. Both visions die. She gets some kind of closure, burying, Fake Vision and fake New Jersey, wherever they are. And then her kids are going to die. It's going to send her over the edge, like you guys talked about. And I think Doctor Strange is going to show up, and I think that going to kind of recruit Wanda to come help. Maybe there is that big bad that they're going to go fight, but I think there's going to be an off chance that she brings her children back from a different multiverse, and that's why she goes with Doctor Strange to bring them back, and then just kind of create her reality, back in normal, Marvel universe. So I think that's what's going to happen. Monica's going to have powers. It's not going to be a happy ending. It's going to be kind of bittersweet, and it's kind of there's not going to really be an ending, and it's going to kind of roll into the Doctor Strange movies.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you all for joining us once again. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you join us next time for the final episode of WandaVision, or at least that's what I think it's going to be, unless they drop another bomb on us and add more episodes or something like that. But go ahead, and if you like what we're hearing, go ahead and smack the like button, subscribe if you like. Leave us some comments. We'd really love to hear from you guys if you're listening and watching this. And we'll see you next time.